Alright, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. FNUSA57 here. We are currently on some Black Ops 7, and today's video is dedicated to everything that you need to know about getting those camos that you just seen pop up. So yes, you guessed it, we are talking about the Escalation Directive event. This is everything that you need to know on how to get the brand new shotgun, all 4 non-animated camos, 4 animated camos, and the camo for getting everything. Let's go ahead and look at this nice, spicy event complete. So what do we have here? We just unlocked in that clip the radioactive camo. Of course, we had to get incandescence as well. Don't know if that's going to show up for my thumbnail or not, but we had to try to get it. And that is everything for your endgame, multiplayer, zombies, and warzone. I will show what the camos look like towards the end of the video. Please use the timestamps to skip ahead to the segment of the video that you need the information for. And of course, if it helps you out, do me a huge favor and smash that like button. Maybe leave me a nice spicy comment and let me know what part you enjoyed the most. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to cover the worst and biggest part of the grind for this event first. That is going to be multiplayer. So I'm going to give you all of our tips, tricks, and everything from there. The hardest section that's going to take the longest amount of time is multiplayer. Second is going to be a tie between endgame and zombies, depending on the strategy that you use. And then really the easiest one to do is Warzone. So all you have to do is, if you want the brand new SG-12 shotgun, you simply just need to complete any 9 event camo challenges across all 4 categories. You get it. Easy peasy. If you want all of the camos and you want the secret camo for obtaining all mastery camos, then you have to do everything, and that's going to be a little bit more complicated. So, mind you, you can only track one of these at a time. I would highly recommend that you take pictures on your phone or write down what the challenges are before you get started. Alright, with that being said, multiplayer, I obviously can't play for you, and there's going to be a lot of variation depending on just your luck with the matchmaking. We all know the matchmaking has good days and bad days, and well, to be honest, the bad days are usually more often than the good days. So, feel free to play with friends, play solo, lobby surf, use every trick in the book to get this done easier. Some of the weapons that are going to take you the longest are going to be like the ARs, because these are kills. There's really not much to it. I recommend that, in my opinion, I prefer playing with a gunfighter class, so it makes all the weapons a little bit better. Do this while you're camo grinding for singularity. Very simple. Just grab yourself an AR, stick some type of sight on it or iron sights, and always make sure that you're aiming down your sights when you're killing enemies. Don't hip fire with it. SMGs, on the other hand, this is the second longest weapon. It takes 20 double kills, so 2 kills rapidly together. That really just depends on enemy positioning. Some folks do prefer to go into hardcore for this, but then again, in hardcore, you're just getting shot across the map and dead in 1 bullet from anything, so it's really a toss-up. Shotguns, on the other hand, you have to be at point-blank range. Basically, you got to stick the barrel in their face, and if you're close enough to melee them, that's a point-blank kill. It's like 1.5 meters or something like that. I had the best luck with the breacher while sliding, but I actually had a little too much hip fire spread reduction, and it made it so that I was having a harder time hitting my shots. So you got to kind of balance that out, but you only need 25 point blank, so that's relatively easy to do. LMGs was the last one that we just did there in the game clip, in the little teaser, the decay heat, where you have to get 3 kills with an LMG without reloading 10 times. Don't worry, it sounds more difficult than it is. I'll show you my build that we used for it, and it's super easy. Melee kills, this is just going to be a matter of playing small map, hide, be that little slippery slime bag. You can tell I don't like the melee guys that are in the spawn, but yeah, just be that little slip and slide guy, grab the melee, move on. You always have it equipped if you come across somebody who's not playing when you're doing your other weapons, just give them a little melee. Launchers and specials, this is bugged. It says 25 kills with score 25 kills or score streak destructions with launchers or special weapons. The score streak destructions, they don't count. I've tried the arrow, the arc, I've tried the havoc, I've shot down UAVs, counter UAVs, watchdog helos, destroyed sentry guns, guard dogs. Nothing counts with it, so just kill enemy players. The easiest way to do that is going to be the havoc, or funny enough, if you can get the score streak, the grenade launcher score streak, that also counts for it. But overall, relatively easy to do. Of course, you could jump into hardcore where a rocket launcher shot is just stupidly easy to get, but it's entirely personal preference. Now, super easy is going to be your pistols. I would say you'd have to go to hardcore because the pistols basically kill in one hit, but you only need 25 elims. So basically, when you get the opportunity, just shoot a couple enemies with your pistol. I'd recommend the Coda or even akimboed Codas. So you just get a couple bullets on it. Doesn't matter if you kill the target or a teammate kills it, you get credit for the elim. Very easy to do. Sniper rifles, snipers can be a little bit difficult because you need 25 one-shot kill medals, so I'll explain that as well and show you what I used for it. A one-shot kill is where you kill the enemy from full health. They cannot be damaged by you or any other team member or even themselves in one single bullet. Now, most of the snipers, upper body and headshot, it's going to be a one-hit kill. The hardest part is finding an undamaged target, and I would actually recommend that you play to the back and then just kind of let the enemies come to you. It's very easy to do, especially on maps like Nuketown, where you have clear lines that you can snipe from. A little frustrating, but relatively easy. Last but not least is marksman rifles, where you simply need 50 elims. Again, put a bullet on it with a 4 times or higher magnification scope equipped. The keyword there is 4 times magnification scope equipped, not while aiming down the sights. So it doesn't matter if you're aiming down your sights or not with it. Slap a 4 times on there and you're good to go. Now, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty of how we do this. So, first and foremost, make your loadouts. If you want, you can change them in game. I have a high roller loadout, one that's just 5 attachments. And then I have the one that I was using, which is my gunfighter loadout that I did most of the work with. So for me, I preferred this setup. You could also go perk greed if you wanted. It's up to you. And obviously flashbangs or stim shots. It just depends on what you're doing with the camo grind. So with this, you can carry 1 primary weapon, and then you can always have either a special, a launcher, or pistol with you. And of course, you can have your knife. So you can kind of work on 3 weapons at the same time. I found active camo to be very helpful, especially with certain weapons that were kind of a pain in the ass. And then we just use Semtexes for a little bit of objective controls. As far as perks, I have Ninja, Vigilance, and Cold-Blooded with the Recon Specialist. You can change this up however you want. It's entirely personal preference. Some people really like to go with fast hands. Not my personal preference, but again, it's entirely up to you. So, the GDL Havoc, I have a guide on my channel that shows you how to unlock this. This is going to be the easiest thing to go ahead and get your kills with. The second easiest is going to be the arrow. Again, entirely personal preference, but go ahead and set your class up however you would like it. As far as the 5-slot class, I have mine set up just all red perks to be very aggressive. Stim, Semtex again. We are running High Roller, but like I said earlier, you can very easily swap out High Roller and run Specialist or Perk Greed if you wanted to. It's entirely personal preference on that front. So I built a lot of my weapons for 5. This is not the ideal setup, by the way. This is just what I used on the Codas. This is my zombies build. So akimboed, put a couple bullets on an enemy. It was really just for when I finished the other main weapon that I was working on. Now, this is for the LMG kills. The biggest point that I can give you, the best little tip that I can offer is belt fed. Don't mess with regular magazine attachments. You don't have to copy my build, use whatever you would like, but make sure you have the belt fed attachment on there. Now for me, the MK.78, whatever you want to call it, this was the easiest LMG to get that done with because of belt fed and not having to worry about reloading. You could, of course, if you really wanted to, run the XM325 with the Titan wield mod on there, or attachment on there, whatever you want to call it, because this is also akimbo. So this is more if you're going to be up close in their face. You don't get that ADS, but you've got the akimbo. Just make sure that you're getting the kill. In my opinion, it seemed like it tracked better when all 3 kills came from the same gun. So that's why we used the MK78. It does more damage, feels much better. And now, as far as marksman rifles, I personally use the M8A1. And this is the setup that I used. I used my 5 attachments. Again, you only need to slap a 4 times on there and then simply get a hit marker with it. That's all you need to do. You just need to get an elim. So very, very easy. Sniper rifles, I found that I wasn't having good luck with the Hawker, which this is what I was using for my Hawker, but I wasn't really having good luck with it. So I actually had the best luck here with the Shadow, and I'm sure if you've played multiplayer, you've probably been killed by this gun a lot. So we basically threw a 2 times on there. A lot of people like iron sights, but the iron sights really block a lot of the peripheral, so I don't really like them that much. I like a 2 times. We just threw the 2 times on there. A little bit of damage range, flinch resistance, faster reload speed, faster ADS speed. Honestly, you can build it entirely how you want. This is definitely not meta. And we picked a lane and hard scoped that lane, getting the 10 or so, 10 to 15 one-shot kills per game. Super easy. I also ran Assault Pack just to give myself more ammo, but more often than not, the enemies will take care of giving you more ammo by simply killing you. So, assault rifles, you can use whatever you want. I would recommend that you work on your camo challenges while doing this. SMGs, again, you can work on your camo challenges with. Use whatever you're comfortable with. What I used for this challenge was the brand new SMG, and I'll take this into the firing range just to kind of give you an idea here. Now, the annoying part is you do have to unfold the stock each time, but this is what I used. I had really bad luck when I took the suppressor off, and then I had much better luck when I had the suppressor on there. So I would recommend a suppressor. Obviously, you can use whatever you would like, but that's the only annoying thing. So now that you have everything set up, score streak-wise, I would recommend UAV, counter UAV. The other thing is entirely personal preference, but I just ran care package. Wasn't really focused on them at all. So, let's talk matchmaking. Alright, easiest way, everybody asks me while I was doing this on stream, what's the best game mode for this? So, pretty much, there's 2 options. If you are comfortable with your, multiplayer, then you're going to want to go to hardcore, and you're just going to want to filter out everything except for, if you want, Nuketown 24/7. I don't particularly like it in hardcore, but a lot of people do. Or you're going to go face-off mosh pit. This is going to be small maps, very fast, and basically 1, maybe 2 bullets is a kill. I don't particularly like it because I feel like there's latency issues with the servers in multiplayer where, like, on your screen, you shoot the enemy multiple times, you get multiple hit markers, but you just die in 1 bullet, even in regular core matchmaking. So, hardcore wasn't where it was at for me. Now, in core, I filtered it to just domination. I would recommend domination, hardpoint, kill confirmed. Those are the 3 game modes that are going to give you the most elims. A few folks told me to try the 20v20, but I found that with that, you get a lot of elims, not so much a lot of kills, and most of the weapon classes you need the kill for, so just getting the elim isn't going to help you out. Remember, though, that this is different matchmaking. This is what's called open matchmaking. So this can go one of 2 completely different ways. This can go either you get in a lobby and you're playing against, like, literal bots, not computer-controlled bots, but, like, players with, like, a 0.1 KD, or it can go the exact opposite of the way where you get in a lobby and you're fighting a 6-stack, and they're all, like, 2.0, 3.0 plus KDs. Unfortunately, it's literally a coin flip. More often than not, I'm up against stacked teams. So I don't usually go into open matchmaking. What I've been doing is purposely lowering my KD, but also at the same time trying to get these challenges done so I could get the video out for you, and then going into this playlist here, Standard Mosh Pit. Unfortunately, you cannot specifically search for a certain game type. There's no way to filter it. It's going to be TDM, Kill Confirm, Domination, Hardpoint, and Overload. Overload and TDM suck for the challenges. Domination and Hardpoint are what you want. Kill Confirmed can be decent, but it can also be pretty bad too. This, though, is dependent upon your skill. So this is skill-based matchmaking, and it is taken into consideration based on your party and averaged out with your party and the players in your party. So if you're having a difficult time in quick play, then you want to go into the standard matchmaking mode depending on your KD. Now, like I said, I've been trying to lower my KD because it's just... I wanted to just get this done and get the camo done without really having a lot of aggravation. So, unfortunately, because I was trying to get the camo done, I have a higher multiplayer elim ratio than what I like. I'm sitting at a 1.2 to elim to death ratio. You really want that to be under a 1.0 for the average of your team, and then that seems to find you better lobbies. Also, if you queue solo, you only seem to go up against either solos or at most a 2-stack. If you queue with one other person, then you tend to go up against 2 stacks to 3 stacks. If you have 3 people, you and 2 friends, then you tend to go up against 2 stacks all the way up to 4 stacks. If you queue with 4 people, you can go all the way up to a 6-stack. That's what I've seen in my matchmaking as far as the opponents that I ran into. But what you want to do, when you're all set up, you got your classes and everything, you just want to go in, whether you're going to do standard matchmaking or you're going to do whatever matchmaking, quick play is a little bit faster, and you're going to let it search for a match. If you get TDM or Overload, or you get a match with a bunch of people that have like nuke calling cards or whatnot, simply back out of the match. I mean, if you care about your stats, then play out the match. But if you are only there trying to get into a good lobby, just keep lobby surfing. Just keep backing out and going for a new match. Go for a new lobby. If you find a lobby where, it's like people are kind of, a little bit lower skill, a lot of lower levels, not a lot of stacked teams, then go ahead and stay in that lobby for as long as possible. And that's the best advice that I can offer you when it comes to doing the multiplayer challenges. Now, if you have any questions, again, leave me a comment and I'll do my best to help you out. I do have a game clip that I want to show you with the Havoc, just so that you guys kind of get used to what you're trying to do with it and get those kills. Now, this was right at the end, and I did get the game-winning kill, which was pretty cool. I was just finishing up my AR challenge, and then I was doing my launchers. So I always had the Havoc on my back here, and basically I would use my AR first, maybe get people weak, or if there was somebody behind cover or I had to reload like this guy, I know he's mad at me because we fired this round and just airburst it right on him. It was like the best kill that I've had with the Havoc, but that's what we were doing to get the event completion challenge for the launchers and specials. Just always keeping that Havoc on us to get those kills. It is a little bit weird weapon where you fire the round and then you have to detonate it with the left trigger, but it allows you to do spicy things like that. Now, let's go ahead and check out Endgame. So this is going to be the second to easiest camo for you to unlock. And once again, you're going to have to do all of these challenges. This is for synthesis. With assault rifles, you have to eliminate 50 special or elite enemies. You need an SMG. You have to get 3 kills rapidly 30 times. Shotguns are 150 elims with a shotgun while at combat rating 30 or higher. So you will need a CR 30 or higher operator. I recommend CR 45 or higher for max damage. LMGs, you need to eliminate 300 human or guild bot enemies. I'll show you how to do that. For the knife, you need to get a kill with a melee weapon while or shortly after sliding, diving, or wall jumping. This one's actually kind of a pain in the ass, depending on exactly what skills you have. Launchers, you need to get a kill or destroy guild equipment or VTOLs 50 times with launchers or special weapons. So you should be carrying an arrow anyways, but you can use other special weapons. Pistols are easy but potentially difficult, where you need to kill 25 enemies that are affected by your equipment or an ability. And then sniper rifles is simply use a sniper rifle to eliminate 100 enemies in zone 3 or higher. And marksman rifles is eliminate 150 enemies with marksman rifles at rarity rare or higher. Can be anywhere on the map. So for this, you're going to drop into Endgame, and you're going to use literally any of the kill farms. It does not matter. Now, this is the operator that I used when I was going through and doing this. CR63, major ability crash cart, minor ability kinetic jump. If you want, for the pistols, you can swap out crash cart, especially if you're playing with a team, and use something like vision pulse. That makes it very easy to do. Or, as long as you don't have the exotic skill that I have, you can use pinpoint grenades, which is also super easy, or concussions. So you're going to want a skill track that does not have tactician, because tactician can steal your kills. So I recommend Gunner, Daredevil, Bulldozer. Bulldozer gives us damage and armor regen. Daredevil gives us maneuverability as well as reduced melee damage that we receive. Gunner gives us all of the reload speed, replate speed, weapon swap speed, ADS speed, all of that fun stuff. For exotic skills, you have two options. Either Celebration, which is bugged, and you can combine it with pinpoint grenades. It makes everything easier except for the pistol challenge. Or Shatter Shield for survivability. None of these challenges are really difficult, and if you are willing to sacrifice your arrow, the average person, I'm going to say, is going to get this done in 2 matches, but if you're willing to sacrifice your launcher and pick up another weapon while you're in-game, you could easily get this done in like 1.5 games. But if it takes you 3 games, just, don't worry about it. A lot of it's RNG as to what weapons you get in the game. So, personal preference, I recommend that you load in with 3 weapons that you can work on. Obviously, the arrow, your melee weapon, and then whatever primary weapon you want. So, for me, when I did this, and I did this yesterday, but I actually brought in the marksman rifle. The main reason being, I did not want to be forced to use a Warden or a Nova line in Endgame. So I took in this particular marksman rifle, which is the M8A1 with the conversion kit on it. All I did, flew right to a command center, got my kills, and then we just started cycling weapons from there. So basically, I'll go in, show you what I'm talking about, and we'll get this party going. So basically all I did, I came in here, I landed in zone 3, we murdered everything in sight, which is really, really easy to do if you have a CR63 operator, packed the weapon, and then went on a murdering spree. Now, if you don't have Celebration, it will make your life a lot easier because you can easily affect enemies and you don't really have to worry about it. But what I was doing is, for the melee kills, you either have to go wall jump and then melee an enemy. It works better in the lower tier zones. So do this in zone 1 or zone 2. And then, you can also slide into an enemy as long as you don't have slide explosions on. We have slide explosions, and unfortunately that can kill the enemies, so you don't want to do that. But that's all I did. I went in, I grabbed the bench, jailbroke the weapon up to max level, and then we got the heck out of Dodge. Now I'm going to pick up this contract here just so that I can show you. These eliminate HVT contracts because we'll need them in a minute. So all we did for kills was use any of the kill farming spots here in Zone 3. Simply go to Zone 3, don't rock a suppressor on anything, and you're just going to get a big group of enemies, group them all up, murder them. Keep doing that until you're done with the weapon and it's time to switch. And then, of course, For launchers, launchers are really easy. You need to get your guild tech, and you can do that with the HVTs. You can do the HVTs anywhere. You can also do command centers, but chances are command centers are going to be a little bit more difficult because people clear them and they don't usually respawn. So in order to get another weapon, you're going to have to get weapon crates. That means either killing elite enemies, but a lot of times elite enemies don't drop a weapon crate, eliminating command centers, doing strong boxes in any zone. So like the guild strong box there, you could do that if you wanted to. And with that, it will give you a weapon crate. But it takes about 3 minutes, so you don't really want to do that. I picked up this contract so I could show you. What I did is I came through and I would use my arrow to go ahead and destroy the sentry guns. Because, obviously, they're guild equipment. Now also, dogs count for that. And I'm just going to use my crash card ability so I'm immune. There's a third sentry gun right there. Easy peasy. And then what we would do is we would kill the HVT. And of course I have Celebration. So Celebration with Pinpoint just basically lets you insta-kill them. But you'll get a weapon crate. From this weapon crate, I would then, as soon as I'm done with one weapon, I would simply swap to the next weapon class. Go back into Zone 3. I use the area around Casino, but you could honestly use the edge of the map. You could use the area around Residence. There's a ton of different places that you can go. You can go over here by this exfil point, and there's a ton of different HVT elims. So whatever zone you do the HVT elim in, like you could stay in Zone 3, do the HVT elim. It's just in Zone 3, you'll only get a purple weapon. And that is literally all I did. I just cycled those. The first match, I was able to get done 5 weapon classes. So melee, launcher, the weapon I brought in, and 2 more weapons that I swapped to. Unfortunately, I didn't get lucky, though, because a lot of the weapon crates were giving me a launcher and a shotgun, and I was already done with the launcher and the shotgun. Now, if you are willing to swap out your arrow launcher as soon as you no longer need the launcher, then you could carry 2 completely different classes of weapons and just go from there. So, when it comes to specials for the ARs, I would recommend that you go ahead and have 2 different weapon classes. So that's why I said swap out the arrow. Like carry 1 AR and carry 1 something else. Something that needs regular kills. Kill the enemies with the regular weapon. And as you're going around any of these Zone 3 areas farming, any of those areas, as you're going around, eventually you're going to get special enemies that spawn. The shifters, manglers, doppelgasts, those things. Those are your special enemies. So what you do, we'll just pretend that this is my regular weapon, and this is my AR. I take my AR, I kill off the special enemy with my AR, and then I go back to killing the regular enemies with the weapon that needed the kills for it. If you're unlikely to swap out your arrow, it will take you longer. But if you don't mind swapping out your arrow, then it's a lot easier. So for special enemies, obviously the Cradle Champion doesn't count. But if you leave the Cradle Champion alive, you can get anywhere between 3 to 6 of the special enemies. So just spawn them in, kill a couple of the enemies, the regular fears, and then you'll get a special enemy that spawns. You can typically repeat that usually about 4 times before no more special enemies will spawn when farming an exfil. So if you're struggling to find special enemies in the open world, that's one of the easiest ways to do it. Just farm the exfil, farm the open world, or if you are really, really struggling and no one else is there in your game, you can go over here to the Coliseum, and there's a ton of raiders that spawn pretty much like there, and like right there. Only kill the raiders and then just exit the POI and come back to the POI. It's a fantastic special form, but the moment another player enters that area, or if you kill all enemies, then sadly it just doesn't work. Last but not least, I will have one game clip to show you for the pistols, in case you're like me and you use Celebration. So just real quick to show the game clip. If you're like me and you have Celebration, it will make your life a lot easier with the melee sliding kills, and it will make your life a lot harder for the pistols. So what you want to do for the melees is to simply toss the pinpoint grenade, slide around back and forth, and you'll get credit for the kills with a melee weapon while shortly after sliding. On the other hand, for the pistol kills, what you want to do is you want to throw the pinpoint grenade so that it's farther away from the enemies. Let a couple walk into it, and then let the rest walk into it, because the mortar rounds don't count. It only counts what is actually affected. So if the enemy is highlighted by the pinpoint grenade, and then you kill it with a pistol, or just have your pistol out and Celebration mortar rounds kill it, it counts. But if it just wipes out all the enemies before they're highlighted by the pinpoint grenade, it doesn't count. Next up is going to be zombies and the prismatic camo. This one is really easy if you go in order. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to. So for assault rifles, you need to earn 25 massacre medals. SMGs, you need to get 1,000 elims at rarity rare or higher. Shotguns require 500 elims with a shotgun while it's pack-a-punched. LMGs are an easy 150 kills on enemies while an insta-kill is active, obviously with the LMG. Melee weapons require 300 eliminations with a melee weapon while using a tier 2 or higher vest. Launchers require the elim on 100 armored zombies. Depending on the launcher or special weapon that you get, this can be very easy, but fireworks does count for this. So if you're unlucky like I was on stream and you get the arc, you still can do it with fireworks. Pistols require 10 consecutive kills without taking damage 10 times, with pistols of course. Sniper rifles are 300 critical kills with snipers, and marksman rifles are 100 kills with the marksman rifle while TED tasks are active. Relatively easy and straightforward. The method I'm going to explain allows you to get this all done in one game, and it will take you approximately somewhere around 41 or 46 waves, about 2 hours worth of game time, depending on just how fast you go. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be very specific with your loadout, and I did this on stream earlier. We started off with the pistols and a melee weapon, and then it's going to be very specific what map you want to go to, but you want to try to get an SMG, and then keep swapping your weapons out, and you want to make sure that you have mule kick. This way you can do it all at once. So the loadout that I brought in was my Jaegers. Of course, I had them akimboed. Basically, we built them just for max damage once they were pack-a-punched. And funny enough, quick tip, that the Hawker ported comp here actually gives you more of a maximum hipfire spread reduction than if you were to use the hipfire laser. So that's why we have that on there. I also brought in the flatline because I'm still doing the melee challenges. And then, of course, we started with decoys and combat axes. Field upgrade doesn't really matter. You can use whatever you want. I recommend Toxic Growth, and this is the gumball pack that I started with. You can use any gumballs that you would like. I did use an Armor-Getting and then 3 soda fountain gumballs during the course of the game. I also used a couple of random gumballs like Killjoy and then a Temporal Gift, this gumball down here, so that we could extend the duration of the Killjoy Gobblegum. Honestly, you don't have to, but I would really recommend the Armor-Getting just so you can get this done in one save. Now, if you're going to do this over multiple games, you can play however you want. If you want to get it done in one game with maximum efficiency, the game mode that you want to play is going to be Survival, you want to play Solo, and you want to do Van Dorn Farm. The reason behind doing Van Dorn Farm with this specific setup is because you have Chompy, where you can gain extra salvage. You have TED tasks to get perks, salvage, all sorts of good stuff, even eternal perks. And you have the mushroom. So you want to be a mushroom farmer. This way you can go ahead and get even more stuff and a bunch of weapons for free. Because we had to spend, and I'm not even joking, we had to spend 50,000 essence in total before I seen a sniper rifle from the mystery box. Why? I have no idea. But you want to play on that map? Just go in. And what I did is I started off doing the pistol challenge first. So when there was 10 zombies on the map, I would kill 10 of them with my pistol. Any zombies that were left that weren't 10 for each wave, I would use my melee weapon. And I kept doing that until my pistols were done. By wave 2, you're going to have the mushrooms. And you want to grow them with toxic growth, of course. So from the mushrooms, I got a blue SMG. You can also wait until the first SMG is available. It's a wall buy. It's very easy. Then I primarily used, on the lower rounds, my melee weapon. Of course, I popped that armor getting, so I had a free 3-plate vest, saved me some money, plus allowed me to work on the melee weapon early, because you don't want to be working on that in the late game when the zombies are doing a lot of damage. Once I finished up with about round 5 or 6, I got Mule Kick. And, of course, I would use Soda Fountain, and I would do my TED tasks and everything so that we had as many zombies and as many points as possible. Then I got an AR, once again, from the mushrooms. So I had 3 weapons. I had my pistol in case I went down, I had the SMG, and I had the AR. Now, the AR requires 25 massacre medals. That's 10 rapid kills. All kills have to come from the assault rifle. However, you don't have to get just 10 massacre medals. If you get whatever the medal is for 20, that counts as 2 of the sets of 10, at least currently. So on later waves, I was able to get a whole bunch of zombies grouped up and then just murder them. Once I finished up with that, I kept hitting the mystery box and the mushrooms until the mushroom gave me a shotgun. So I swapped out my AR for the shotgun, and I held on to the SMG and the shotgun, using the SMG primarily because it was still at blue rarity. Then, when I finished up with the SMG, or I was almost finished with the SMG, I started hitting the mystery box trying to get a rocket launcher, because unfortunately the mushrooms can't drop rocket launchers. You can only get those from the mystery box. And right now you have the arrow, the arc, the crossbow. So if you zombies build your crossbow with explosive bolts, that would also work. The Havoc is not in the mystery box. You'd have to bring it in with you. During the course of getting all of that and hitting the mystery box, I found an LMG. I got the LMG, picked it up, saved up all the zombies, popped an insta-kill with Temporal Gift, got about 70 zombie kills during that wave, and then I used a second Killjoy the next wave. Of course, right after I finished the challenge, I did get a Killjoy Gobblegum insta-kill. The power-up itself dropped on the ground. But, of course, I didn't need it. Then we had the Marksman Rifle, which, once again, you can get from the mushrooms, or the mystery box. I got mine from the mystery box, and I just used it during a TED task. I also activated an insta-kill for it. And then the sniper rifle, we had to go and spend 50,000 essence rolling the mystery box. I couldn't get one from the mushrooms. They do drop from the mushrooms. I just was unlucky with it. And it was quite an ordeal to get it out of the mystery box. But we got it out of the mystery box and then just used Deadshot Daiquiri to spam our way to the 300 crit kills. We did everything in one match, and I do have the after action report so that I can show you that, just because some folks are going to question whether that is really something that you can do. But it is true, you can do it, and I did not play another zombies game, so you can see right here my previous game, which was about 8 hours ago that we did it. We had a total of 3,804 elims with roughly 1,300 crit kills, and that was the game we exfilled successfully on round 46, where I did everything for the challenge for the event. Super easy. Basically, you can see here in this game clip, I got a Hawker out of the mystery box. I made the mistake of not zombies building all of my sniper rifles. You really should zombies build all of your weapons. It'll make your life so much easier. And basically, we just kept decoys the entire match. I did put the dead wire ammo mod on just to kind of give me a little bit of a break from the zombies, and we simply spammed the ADS to go ahead and, you know, use Deadshot Daiquiri to its fullest. Obviously, if I would have gotten this on an earlier round, it would have been a lot easier. On my other weapons, I would use Light Mend throughout the course of the match. And you can see my last headshot that we got right there with our Prismatic and the Ultra Mastery camo for getting all the weapon classes done. Of course, we had to take a screenshot, and we had almost all Eternal perks. You can farm TED tasks, and I went over that while I was on stream. So you want to do every single TED task. Basically save one zombie from the round, activate the TED task, do whatever you need for the TED task, and whatever it says, let's say it says hipfire kills, right? Get the reward bar up to like purple halfway to legendary, and then just get the kills by aiming down your sights. Like, don't actually do what the TED task tells you to do until you only have like maybe 20 seconds left to complete the TED task if you want to get it to legendary. Because all of those purple-eyed zombies that are spawned in by the TED task, they don't count as round zombies, but they do count as kills for all of your challenges. So you can very easily get yourself an extra 100, 150 kills, depending on the TED task that you get, just by farming the zombies from the TED task. Now, I'll show you all of my augments that I used. Again, you can use whatever you want. You don't have to use this. It's entirely personal preference. Stamina up, I went with Free Faller just because we do jump out of the barn a bit. I did use Equivalent Exchange on Quick Revive just to get myself back up in case I went down. Juggernog, Probiotic Hardened Plates, Durable Plates. Melee Macchiato didn't really matter, but I used Espresso to make it easier. Speed Cola with Supercharged Fast Pitcher and Prestidigitation. Vulturade, absolutely, hands down, Armormatic, Condor's Reach, and Picky Eater. It'll make getting your decoys back a lot easier, plus it's a nice safety net not having to manually replay. Death Perception doesn't really matter, but I use Sixth Sense. PhD Flopper, I had Gravity MD on. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend PhD Slider, but I just had the wrong thing on since I was doing my Mars run prior to playing today. I also went with my Mule Kick being multi-pack, so that when I would Pack-a-Punch one weapon up, there was a chance that a free Pack-a-Punch would go to another weapon, thereby saving me a lot of essence, since we did have to switch weapons 9 times for this. Deadshot Daiquiri, I went with Dead Head, even though you could go with Dead first, but Dead Head, since we had so many different weapons to do, was the better choice. And Double Tap, I went with Double Standard, where all non-critical shots deal double damage. So on our over penetrations, if we weren't hitting a crit, we were still doing more damage. And with the shotguns, it was incredibly easy. I did luck out and get the M10 Breacher. The M10 Breacher does a lot of damage, and it's just really easy to use. For Elemental Pop, to control how many zombies we lost, I went with Citrus Focused. And Wisp Tea, I chose Mask of Benevolence, so it would heal me. For ammo mods, I only ever really used basically 3 ammo mods. I was going to say 2, but I did use Fireworks when I got the Arc Launcher, grouped up all the zombies, and then shot them till Fireworks activated and let them die to it. Eventually, I did get the Arrow, and we took the Arrow to Pack 3, and then just finished the challenge with the Arrow. The other mod or ammo mod that I used was Light Mend with Booster Shot, so the glyph could overcharge your health, Extra Strength, so the healing glyph recharged more, and Mythos, so that there was a chance of getting more healing glyphs upon every activation. We did then also use Deadwire with Lightning Strike, Haste, and Aftershock, just so that zombies would leave us alone while doing those snipe shots for the critical kills with the sniper rifle. For field upgrades, towards the end of the game, say round 22 plus, I used Frenzy Guard with Frenzy Fire Extension and Repair Boost, but prior to that, I used Toxic Growth. Last, but certainly not the most difficult, is the Phased Camo, which honestly the Warzone Mastery Camo looks really good. So for this one, Warzone, it's really easy. With that being said, I will give you a few pointers along the way. Assault rifles, you simply need to get 30 elims with loadout assault rifles. So you do need to get your loadout and have an assault rifle on your loadout for that. SMGs, you need 10 kills while moving with SMGs. They are kills, meaning you have to get the down, and then that down has to die. Shotguns is 5 kills while aiming down sights with shotguns, which is kind of weird, but yeah, that you actually have to ADS, get the down while ADS'd. LMGs is simply 2 kills with an LMG in a single match 3 times. It's ridiculously easy. Melee is 3 kills with the melee weapon. Launchers is 3 kills or vehicle destruction with launchers or special weapons. For some reason, I couldn't really get the vehicle destructions to count, but I just used the Havoc to go ahead and easily kill 3 bots, and we got that done. Pistols, obviously you start with the pistol, so you hit the ground with the pistol, get 3 elims with it, super easy. Snipers, that's a totally different story. You have to get 5 long shot kills with the sniper, and for some reason, even 60, 70 meter shots with the VS Recon didn't count as a long shot. I couldn't get it. I actually had to put my Hawker on my loadout and run that to get it. But if you can get it, you only need 5 long shots for it. Then for marksman rifles, you need 3 kills with a marksman rifle in a single life. Honestly, you can find marksman rifles as ground loot. You can literally find every classification here of weapon except for melee as ground loot. But I would advise that you build your loadout specifically so that you have your knife. I'd recommend the ballistic knife, but you can use any melee weapon. Then you have your launcher, and you have your assault rifle. Finish your launcher kills first. So when you hit the ground, finish your pistol kills. Bang, 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 bang. Done. If you have extra opportunity, use your melee. If you don't worry about it. You'll have it with your loadout. Just try to farm up as much money as possible, as quickly as possible, remembering what these challenges are. So if you happen to find a sniper or marksman, SMG, shotgun, LMG, just use them as ground loot. You can get all of the challenges done with ground loot weapons except for the AR. Then buy yourself a loadout if you're solo or with a team. Honestly, it doesn't really make it that much easier with a team, but somebody can watch your back if you're playing with a friend, so that does help. However, loadouts are less expensive if you're playing solo, so if you're only missing like the AR kills or want to get a head start on it, play solo, you only need like 6,000 for a loadout instead of 10,000. The way that I did it though, my loadout, I had to do one last game for testing, so I had my SMG on there, but what I was actually using was the any assault rifle. I used my AK here for it. So this is the way my loadout looked. I took in my AK and the Hawker and the ballistic knife. I definitely recommend scavenger and reactive armor. So your armor, you don't have to worry about constantly refilling. Scavenger is going to give you all your ammo. It used to give you money, but now it just says ammo and resource acquisition. It's a little bit weird. I don't know what they did to this. I think they just removed the money because it just says that you get ammo, equipment, and plates. So there's no more free money from Scavenger. Now, as far as game mode, what you're going to want to do, you can do this in anything, but you're going to want to go into casuals. You're going to want to play on Resurgence. I recommend Rebirth Island. Alright, so obviously this is Snowy Rebirth. The map's a little bit different. It really depends on what flight path you get and a lot of different effects on the map. Drop wherever you like with a relatively high loot density. What I did is I targeted Turbine. This area used to be like no players would go there, but unfortunately a lot of players do go there now because it's considered a high loot zone. And obviously I shouldn't have to say it, but stay out of the poison gas. With that being said, drop wherever you are most comfortable with that you can go ahead and get your loadout as quickly as you possibly can because that's the main goal. So upon hitting the ground, what I did in my game, I skipped all of the assault rifles. I just went, grabbed loot until there was a few bots, got 3 elims with my pistol, and then as soon as I found something like this SMG, I just grabbed the SMG and started eliminating bots. Like we have a little bot right here. And I had all of the challenges saved on my phone. I took screenshots so I knew exactly what I was getting into when I picked up a weapon, exactly what challenge I needed. We got a little bot here. And then like I found a shotgun. Shotgun is super easy. Of course, For some reason, with the shotgun, you normally find the Akita, which is really weird that the Akita is just everywhere. But there's a ton of loot, and I do mean a absolute ton of loot in here. If you get lucky and you get a red box, you can go ahead and swap like one of your weapons so that you have your loadout assault rifle. This did work for me. I've seen some folks saying that the red box did not work for your loadout assault rifle, but for me, it did work. Then I keep coming around here. There's a little biometric scanner here that you can get a key card from. If you get super lucky and get a green key card, then you can get like a free loadout and specialist. It's also weird, but the RCXD is in here. And all we did was just kind of loop around, hitting all of these boxes. There's a lot of boxes for you to hit. It's really easy. Now, I do have a rule of thumb when it comes to these games. If you hit the ground and you just get owned by a sweaty team, and then you get owned by a sweaty team a second time, if you get owned by a sweaty team a third time, just go ahead and leave that match. There's no harm in leaving the game and just searching for a different lobby. Again, you want to make this as easy as possible on yourself. So that's what I did really quickly here. We didn't even open the XP crate, and we have enough to go ahead and get our loadout. LMGs were super, super easy. And then basically all I did here was chill around this area, around Industries and Turbine here, just getting kills on bots. If I did run into a enemy player team, I would try to get away from them. It's just really not worth dealing with enemy players. As far as snipers, like I said, the VS Recon did not work for me. I had to go ahead and get up here. I would hang out with my Hawker on top of the buildings and just try to take out enemies that were a good distance away from me. Like that, you can see we got a long shot medal. Honestly, the long shots for each sniper has a different range that you have to be at for the long shot to count. You do have to be a pretty decent distance away. Like this guy, he's probably not going to be a long shot. Yeah, he was about like 30-something meters. You got to be about like 60 meters-ish. But as long as you're about 60 meters away, for the sniper, for the long shots, it's super easy. And then you can just use your assault rifle or anything else that you're working on. Save up another 10,000. If a bot hits the ground and they down themselves hitting the ground, you can finish off the down, and then that does count for you. That actually counts for the challenge. But normal downs, like if your teammate downs an enemy and you finish off the down, that will not count for your camo challenge. And then, of course, for melee weapons, if you're struggling with the melee weapon, like I said, I recommend the ballistic knife. Break their armor with a regular weapon. Shoot them with the ballistic knife. You can also fire the blade from the ballistic knife. One shot will crack their armor. The second shot will down them. So simply go ahead and get 3 kills with your ballistic knife. Any way you see fit, doesn't really matter. You can also melee them. It's just easier and safer to go ahead and shoot them with the blade, since they buffed the ammo count on the blade up to 150. You should be able to have a relatively decent game and get most of your weapons done. You may not be able to get your assault rifle done, but once you have finished up one of the other weapons, like say you finished up your sniper rifle, then you just want to go ahead and cycle to a different weapon, and you can do that one of 2 ways currently. Either ground loot, so obviously there's a lot of ground loot. If you're playing with friends, maybe ask them to keep their eyes out, like, hey man, I need a shotgun. Look for a shotgun for me, you know, or whatnot. That works. And bots, the bots are just, they're easy. The only time bots are not easy is if you happen to run into bots that have a LMG or snipers. Those bots are honestly insane. If you get the opportunity to grab these little XP crates and open them up, they can be awesome because they give you a lot of money. They give you like 5,000 just for grabbing that crate. They give you a 3-plate vest, and most importantly, they do give a self-revive. So if you died and respawned once, you can go ahead and open one of those crates if they're available in your game and get yourself a nice spicy self-revive again. Now, what I did when I had to switch, and like for instance the shotgun, I couldn't find the shotgun that I wanted. I just grabbed another loadout. Obviously, it's not the best use of money, but that's what I did. I grabbed another loadout. I made sure that there was no enemies near me, so we didn't have to worry about that. Then I went to pick loadout, and you can actually edit your loadout in the match. So like instead of my sniper rifle, just to show that this works, I could bring in, say, this GDL Havoc, and then back out and select the loadout again. Now we have our regular weapon, and we have our GDL Havoc, which, like I said, weird weapon to use. Even weirder camo that we have on here. It's from the event that they just gave like everybody the rewards for. But it is super, super easy, and you should be able to get everything minus maybe your loadout assault rifle kills. Like, you should be able to do half, I would say very easily, half of your event challenges in a single game. It just really depends on how comfortable you are. Do bear in mind that for some reason with this grenade launcher, if you don't have extra rounds for it, every time you detonate the rounds with the left trigger, like fire a round and detonate it, it wants to switch your weapons, which is kind of weird. But yeah, that's how we went and did that. I did all of this the very first day. There's like a marksman rifle, so, you know, 3 kills in a single life. That's relatively easy. But I did this on day 1 when it was arguably at its absolute hardest because everybody was going for it. Now that we're like 2.5 days into the event, it's much, much easier. Of course, I got a bot that wants to head glitch. You can melee with the weapon, and meleeing with the weapon does count. So, super easy, super simple. You're going to get to like where Resurgence ends. Unfortunately, I didn't get the down, so like that guy didn't count for the challenge. But you'll be able to farm really, really easily up until the point where Resurgence ends. Once Resurgence ends, just about all of the players or all of the enemies that you're going to run into in the match, they're actually going to be real enemies. Usually there aren't too many bots left at that point, so yeah, just be very careful with that at that point, and then make sure that you have a weapon that's actually decent. If you want to try to go ahead and win the match, that's up to you. You can also just back out. You don't have to go for the win. It's entirely personal preference. Just make sure that if you're going to be backing out, I recommend that you play solo so you don't inconvenience any of your teammates. Now, as long as you get the down like that, and he doesn't self-revive, it doesn't matter if a teammate kills him, that is considered your kill. So it really should say downs, not kills, but it says kills. It's just weird. Anyways, that's how you do it. Super easy, super simple. Now I'm going to show you what the camos look like in-game after you did all that hard work to get them. Alright, here we go. All of your spicy rewards. So if you did all the work, this is your brand new shotgun that you just unlocked with the incandescent camo. This is the Ultra Mastery for Ultra Mastery of all of the zones. Look at that nice spicy neon glow stick. I don't know if it's my favorite camo out there, but it is definitely one of the more interesting camos. As far as the shotgun goes, the shotgun's actually quite good, and it is semi-automatic, but we've been going through and leveling it up, so it's just going to take a little bit of time to get used to and get all the mastery stuff done for it. Now, just to save me a bit of editing work, I'm going to show you the rest of the camos here in the firing range. We're still going to be using the shotgun just to showcase this a bit more. This is the non-animated camo from Zombies. It's not really my favorite. Now, this camo is a different story. This is the animated camo for completing all weapon classes in Zombies. It's kind of a greenish blue cracked ice looking camo. Honestly, that one looks pretty good. Now we have the non-animated, the phased camo. This is the Warzone camo. which is kind of a more toned down, primarily blue blotchy with green and purple highlights. Kind of cool. Next up, we have my most favorite camo here. This is the Mastery from Warzone, which is primarily a pinkish purple with black accents. It could be a little bit brighter, but honestly, it's my favorite out of all the event camos. Then we have the Decay camo, which is the non-animated camo for multiplayer. And much to my surprise, it's an actual brighter camo than I thought it was going to be, but it does look pretty good. Now we have the multiplayer camo for the Mastery for doing everything, the animated one, which doesn't really look that great in bright areas, and it doesn't glow, but it definitely looks better in darker areas. I would say it's my second favorite camo. Now for the Endgame camos, we have Synthesis, which is primarily a blue camo with kind of like some yellow, white, black accents on it. It's honestly not a bad looking camo. It's fairly clean, but it's definitely not my favorite. Lastly, we have the Mastery camo for Endgame, which is kind of like a Arctic camo here, a blue-white Arctic pattern. It's kind of ugly on the weapon preview, but once you get it in game, especially in a lower light area, it grows on you a little bit. Not my favorite, but not my most hated. There you have it. That is everything you need to know for Escalation Directive. All 8 camos and the new shotgun. Everything tips and tricks wise for co-op campaign and endgame. Multiplayer, which is going to be the longest grind. And then zombies and Warzone. I estimate endgame to take the average person 2 to 3 hours. Zombies 2 to 3 hours if you follow my strategy. Warzone also approximately 2 hours. But multiplayer is probably going to take you, depending on just how good you are and how lucky you are with lobbies, anywhere from 8 to 24 hours to do. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think and if this video helped you out. If you have any questions, leave me a comment as well. And otherwise, just, smash that like button, share the video with your friends. All that stuff greatly helps me out. Till next time, my brothers and sisters, thy legion, stay frosty.